Hello everyone, welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Steve Hort, that's Chris Pajak, and we are here to preview the divisional round Sunday games of the NFL playoffs. Early on, we've already done the Saturday games. Please go back and watch that if you haven't already. It was great.
Unless it's Sunday.
Unless it's Sunday, you know what's happened, then there's no point. Just look forward to the next show when we review what just happened there, when the Patriots probably won. Chris, two very, very intriguing games on Sunday.
One I'm paying particular attention to.
We'll get to that second.
Oh,
that's later on in the show. Let's start then. Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. The Jags coming off a barnstorming 10-3 win against the Bills. The Steelers have rested players for a couple of weeks now. They look like they're going to be 100% pretty much. The Jacksonville won this game 30-9 back in October.
Yeah.
Do you think that's holds any significance now that we're in January?
I think it holds a lot of significance. Okay. I think it's a carrot dangling in front of the Steelers, and they want to fucking eat that carrot, mate. I think they're looking at that going, that's embarrassing. Ben Roethlisberger threw 5 interceptions in that game. It was a career high for him. It was one of his worst games ever. They're all looking at that, and they all want to make an amends for that. If I was the Jacksonville Janguars, I'd rather have beaten them like 10-9 so that they're not as fired up for this game, because it's going to fucking piss them off, because there's a lot of big egos in that Steelers locker room on both sides of the ball. You know, they've got a great offense, a great defense, and they've got hunger. They want to go, and they want to probably go and face the New England Patriots in the championship game. They're a better side, Pittsburgh, for me. You know, they've stuttered along the way as well. You know, they've not really got the running game going this season at all. Consistently, Bell's had breakout games and stuff, but by comparison to some of the other teams around them, they're pretty low down in the rushing stats. Brown will be back in for this game. I don't know how that's going to work out for the Steelers. If he's fit, I see them winning it. If he's a decoy, I worry a little bit for them. That's being said, Smith-Schuster can step up.
They've said he's 100% after the leg injury.
You've got to. If he's a decoy, you can't say he's not.
Yeah, absolutely, fair enough, yeah. On the flip side, Jacksonville can be going, you know what, we've done this before. Against these players, we absolutely killed these. Job done, let's do it again, and let's go and play probably New England, maybe Tennessee if something mad happens. But there's our blueprints there. Yeah. Run the ball down their throat with Leonard Fournette, and just let our defence go to work. And we've been saying on the previous show, if you haven't watched it, build the upset. We don't need to build the upset. We've seen how the upset happens. It's that again. So maybe that should give Jacksonville some hope, and at least a game plan to go, you know what, been there, done it, let's just win out.
I think the Steelers have to come out, and they're going to expect to see the same type of thing. And what you've got to do is the Steelers' offense in this game is early set up the screen game. You know, you want Jacksonville pressing, you want them looking for those big sacks, exactly like what happened last time, and you need to burn them early on to just slow that pass rush down a little bit, because Ben Roethlisberger has been inviting pressure on himself throughout his entire career. You know, the last 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, whatever, was he 2004? He came into the league. He's stood there and he's taken it. These guys are fitter, faster, stronger and bigger than they were 10 years ago, and he's older, and his movement is nowhere near as good as what it once was. He is inviting pressure for himself now, and he needs to utilise that to make sure that the Steelers can go on and capitalise.
Ramsey v Brown, you know, the best wide receiver in the league.
Do you think he'll follow him?
Yeah, pretty sure. That could be... He did last time, and I think Brown got him on a big one once, but by and large, Ramsey, you know, had a very good game against them. You've got to stop him. You know, to have any chance, you've got to stop Antonio Brown. Very few people can, very few people do. It's going to be Ramsey with maybe a bit of safety help. Do you think that's going to be enough?
Honestly, no. I mean, what I think about these elite wide receivers, and this isn't building it on one season or one game, is that I think the cornerback position is just so much harder.
It's what's reactionary, isn't it?
Exactly, you know what I mean? You might get the best of Antonio Brown one day, but not the next. And we're talking about, he will be a Hall of Famer. He may even be the best wide receiver that's ever lived. I mean, he is that good. He's definitely in the conversation. I think that he'll beat him out this game if he's fit.
Yeah. Flipping over then.
If not, you've used the decoy to take out the best defender in the team,
and then you've got,
which is a clever plan as well.
Then you might have Boye on Smith-Schuster or Bryant, which again good matchups. Flipping over. Blake Bortles struggled in the last game. It was windy down in Jacksonville.
Hang on. Blake Bortles struggles every game.
Yeah, that's true. Blake Bortles struggled particularly with the weather. Pittsburgh in January isn't known for being the coolest climate in the world. That could be something that we need to watch out for in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the way the wind flows around Heinz Field.
Yeah,
I mean, it starts swirling and all kinds of stuff, doesn't it? I forget which end it is as well that's particularly difficult.
Yeah.
Blake Bortles, just, you mentioned that last show's mechanics aren't great. He doesn't throw the ball particularly well. That doesn't hold up in bad weather, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what we saw it in the wind the other day. When every time he had to throw in the second half to his left, that's where the wind was going, he was in trouble. So maybe we're going to see that again. Final point, I suppose, to maybe give Jacksonville credit. In recent weeks, the Steelers defense give 24 up to the Browns, 6 to the Texans, 27 to the Patriots, 38 to the Ravens, 23 to the Bengals, and 28 to a Brett Hundley-led Packers.
Yeah.
It isn't a shutdown defense by any means. You know what I mean?
You don't have to be with the Jaguars. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, their offense isn't explosive enough. I know this all sounds ridiculous when they scored 30 points on them the last time.
That was a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, exactly. You know, 5 of which were from Roethlisberger. I just can't see them. I just can't see them winning this game. I really can't. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout to the Steelers, but I think when you factor in everything, the fact that it's a home game for the Steelers, the fact that they're just so much better on the offensive side of the ball, the fact that they've got a quarterback, it all points to me, Steelers 7 to 9 points.
There we go. Steelers. Yeah, I think I'll pick the Steelers as well in a relatively close game. Right then, the one you've been waiting for. You're excited.
No.
You're nervous.
Yeah.
Sunday night, Drew Brees is coming to your Minnesota Vikings, having played the best game of the season that he's just had. It's the second ranked offense in the league against the best defense in the league. How are you feeling?
Very, very nervous, and I was fearing the Rams. I'd not really planned for the Saints. You know, I was all the way through the last couple of weeks, I was thinking, it's going to be Rams, it's going to be Rams, it's going to be Rams, okay. They're a dangerous side, but we've managed to beat them 24-7 earlier on in the season and all that type of stuff. The Saints game's the first game of the season. You know, we had Sam Bradford in, I think we scored 30 points on them back then. Was it 30-19 or something, maybe the first game we played against them?
Sam Bradford was amazing.
He was incredible that day. If you'd ask me who the two most well-rounded teams in the left are, it is the Vikings and the Saints.
Yeah, I agree.
It's both sides of the ball for both teams, and when it comes down to something so close, quite often it's the quarterback that's the difference. And as good as Case Keenum played, and I'm a massive fan of Case Keenum, Drew Brees is ultimately much better, and his running backs are better than ours. McKinnon and Murray have been brilliant. But Kamara and Ingram have been another world.
I think home field counts for something in the past. It definitely does.
It's a dome though, and it suits them.
But the other team have got a better quarterback as well. It's a really, really tough one. I was looking before when I was putting the agenda together. I was thinking of some key matchups. So we're probably going to see Rhodes on Thomas. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So that's a wash almost. We'll see who wins that game. That's a really good one.
There's a lot of trust in Trey Waynes though as well. You know, I mean, there is an awful lot of trust.
So maybe they might send him over. I was thinking, on the other side, you might have to see... so obviously Lattimore's going to be against Rhodes or Diggs. Sorry, Thielen or Diggs. Where you might get some joy is Crawley, who's been pretty good at the back for the Saints, but he's not amazing. He's going to be up against either Diggs or Thielen. That might be where Case Keenum gets some joy. I can't see him throwing too much at Marshall and Lattimore. I think that's an unwise decision. But if you've got Thielen or Diggs against Crawley, who's been okay, that's probably where you're going to see the ball. So whichever one the Saints decide not to put Lattimore on, if I was them, I'd have Lattimore and Diggs and get Thielen against Crawley with some safety help maybe.
I think that would be dangerous for them.
It's both are dangerous.
But Thielen's just such a better route runner than Diggs that, you know, if he's in that slot position,
PJ Williams as well maybe involved for the Saints. It's going to be tough. That's where you can get at them. I think that's the weakness. That's where you're going to have to go.
And it absolutely has to be. And this is the fortuitous position that this Vikings side is in at the moment, because, you know, I think we've got 2 wide receiver ones. I really do. And we've not even spoken about Kyle Rudolph, and he's a matchup nightmare as well. You know, big, strong hands. Anything down the centre they'll be able to catch. But he's also got that breakout play in him as well for a tight end. So it's really interesting. The key matchup for me is flip side of it. It's who's going to line up trying to stop Kamara in the passing game. And I think, you know, you've got Ben Gideon, you've got Anthony Barr, and you've obviously got Lance Kendricks as our 3 linebackers. Now, in the first game of the season against him, we rotated. They all had a little bit of go, but it was more Anthony Barr. Now, I think we'll see a lot more of him on Kamara than anybody else. I think that's probably what the Vikings will want. I think if they get up against Ben Gideon, we might have a little bit of a struggle. So I think we'll be looking for Barr against Kamara. And we shut them. Listen, sorry, Peterson was in that first game.
Yeah.
But Kamara got more rushing yards than both Ingram and Peterson in that game. So it's not a true reflection of how we deal with him because the offense was worked slightly differently, but it's a good test case if nothing else.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose I was thinking that you might see Smith down in the box more.
Oh, you do that anyway.
But I'm just thinking, you're building the game plan. You're the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. Are you stopping the run or are you stopping the pass? What's your main priority? So basically, I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I know. Is
it Ingram and Kamara or you're picking Drew Brees? Because we saw last week that the Panthers picked their poison and let Drew Brees throw when he had the best game he's ever.
Yeah, the difference is we've got good cornerbacks.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think we'd feel much more comfortable trying to stop the run and trusting in Rhodes and Waynes and Smith and Sendeo and all those type of players because I think at the back end we're quite stocked as well. You know, we're a good, well-rounded unit. And I think we can get a little bit of pressure with the front four as well over that New Orleans.
They lost Andrews Pete, didn't they, last week, which I imagine he's not going to play, so that's one option again.
And the other thing is as well, as good as Drew Brees is, our linemen need to be going in there and going, if you can't get the ball, get your hands up. If you can't get the ball, get your hands up. Exactly. So you've got to trust in your cornerbacks and your safeties doing their jobs, and if you're nowhere near, just start waving your arms around.
Yeah.
Saints.
You think?
Yeah, quarterback.
Yeah.
It fucking pains me to say, but I can be more analytical looking at the NFL than I can if you'd ask me if Liverpool are going to win a game of football. Because I've viewed it from afar for so long and I've seen us be shit for so long as well.
Going Vikings. Yeah, I think you're going to ask Drew Brees to beat you, and I'm trusting the Vikings secondary against a very good quarterback. I think Rhodes, Wayne, Sendeo, Barr, Smith, whoever's back there, you might even get a little bit of Newman. Is he still knocking about it? Yeah, for sure. I think the pass rush is going to get to Drew Brees, and I think the corners are going to do just about enough. Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver no one talks about, so it is a danger. But I think you're going to stop the run, Drew Brees to beat you, and ultimately I'm going to back the Vikings corners in a very, very close one. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's overtime or whatever, but I'm picking the Vikings against everything I want to happen. You know, a bit of flip reverse here. Maybe I'm just jinxing it because my picks have been terrible, so maybe that's what I'm doing. But I think the Vikings will be.
This will be the game of the weekend.
I think you'll be hosting the Falcons next weekend after, which is going to be another fantastic game. You've got.
If we get the Falcons, I think we make the Super Bowl.
Yes, so do I. You've got, and you're predicting that the Falcons are going to New Orleans, which again is another fantastic game. We'll see how that all works out then. Like I say, thank you guys for watching. Let us know in the comments below on those two games who's going to win. Is it Steelers or Jags? Is it Saints or Vikings? And let us know why. While you're there, give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Chris, I'll see you on the other side, maybe with an NFC title game. Maybe not. Until then, I've been Steel. That's been Chris Pajak. That's been Cover 2 TV. Goodbye.